What's up, world? It's Will here with A-List Audio. Just wanted to make a video on the proper ways to use sounds, whether you're getting them from Logic. These are like sounds that piano, like melodies and stuff like that, that you can legally use them. But I'm going to go ahead and show you different ways that you can sample these sounds and not have them sound like someone else. You don't want to have a piano melody and then you make a beat to it and then that's the main melody and then somebody else uses that and then their beat kind of sounds like yours. Because I've noticed that's really popular on the internet. People are building their own kits of different sounds and then selling them online. Logic provides a bunch. So I'm just going to show you a few tips for you to be able to be able to sample that stuff, like use them and then not sound typical. So one of the ways that I found that are pretty interesting, we'll go through here. I set the BPM to 130. So we'll go here and pick, let's see, we'll just, we'll go with, we'll leave it in C. We'll leave it in the key of C, or the scale of C. And then we'll go through, I don't know, let's just go through these piano melodies and see what we can find. I'll end up editing this video until I find something that's pretty cool. So that way, the video is not super long. All right. So it didn't take me too long. I found this here, Distant Memories piano. It sounds pretty dope. Listen to it. It's fairly easy to find a sample, your ear should hear it. You need to learn how to obviously not just hear something and be like, that sounds dope, but listen to it and you have to hear a drum beat in your head. When you hear that drum beat in your head, that's when you're like, okay, I found the sample I'm gonna go with. Okay, so all right, so that's already one little trick right there. It's the fact that I changed the BPM after I dragged it in there, so it slowed it down. So, before I start building the drums, I'll go ahead and show you a little technique here. If you come in here to transpose, one of the things, I can go up or down. Like, let's say I wanted to make it a little darker. I could easily just transpose down, which just changes the octave. It's a little darker than I want, So we'll leave it here with this here. We'll loop this. It's already a little different than what we originally got. So we'll go ahead and look for some drums. I like to sometimes, at this point, I might end up just going into, before I even touch it, just to see if it inspires me enough to make some really dope drums. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and sample some drums. I'm going to use absolutely no plugins on this. I like to honestly not even make my melody. If I'm going to use a sound from anybody, I don't even like to make it my main melody. I don't like to, but this whole video is going to be on me basically just using drums. Or using, I should say, samples that I didn't make. Just to show you that you could easily, make a beat and then make it sound different. I like this one. I'll probably sample this here. Let me see what the second one does. See if I can break down. But basically, we got something to build on right there. So, we might want to either go to some strings. Let's see what we can find on strings, just to see. Some of these things are simple. Okay, so this might be a little too old of like trap style, but we're just gonna go with it and see what I can do with it. So what I might do is, like I showed you, come here to transpose to go down. See what it sounds like when it's lower. I'm gonna even try lower just to see if I can get something deep, dope, dark. It's too deep. When it comes to that trap sound, to me, man, a lot of this stuff sounds like Halloween music, but we'll go with it. That's freaking dope already. All right, and I'm just building it right now. I'm gonna see what I can do with this melody because it sounds too similar to the original. I love this plate reverb. It's one of my favorites. All right, so one little trick here. The same thing, you come here to modulation. Tremolo is one of them that I like to use. Tremolo basically, originally is designed to go left and right. which is cool. I mean, if you're gonna use that, try to use it like somewhere in the 40% range, so it's not like super drastic. You can kind of see it's still kind of in the middle, going side to side. It's really cool to do with your hats, just to kind of have like some bounce or some movement. But if you move here to the phase and you go down to 0, then it goes up and down, which is really popular in EDM. So let's try here 1/8, just to kind of mess with it. You know, we'll you know, knock it down an octave just to see. I'm gonna mess with a few different, whether it sounds good or not. I'm just gonna show you real quick. I want to see what it sounds like if I remove that low quality bass. So anyway, that's one of the tricks. I like to use the tremolo just to see what I can get out of it. You know, it might sound better on 1/4. Mess with it, you know. That sounds dope. So anyway, one of the other things I like to do, let's go ahead and get rid of the tremolo real quick. You know, you can come in here. I think I don't know if I moved them around, but it should still be a multi-effects. A lot of DAWs have their own little multi-effect kind of things. You know, you might be able to load the sample into something, but you want to definitely mess with stuff, man. Like step effects is pretty dope on Logic. You know, it gives you like really cool. What we're trying to do is, like I said, I pitched it down, you know, or an octave. And then now I'm messing with like plugins that change the sound, you know, with like different modulation and stuff. And so what that'll do is to make it sound different. It already sounds different from the original, you know, but you just keep looking for something, you know. So let's sound, you know, it's like, maybe slow down the tremolo. You know, I like to mess here with like there's different things that I like to use. Let's go like distortions, one of them, Bit Crusher, things that kind of just, you know, Bit Crusher's pretty dope. There's like other plugins. This came with Logic, but if you don't use Logic, there's other things that kind of will let you mess with the sound and the frequencies. So you know, your whole point is to find something that kind of stands out. You know, just let's see what else we can find. That kind of changes the vibe. It's no longer dark. One of the little tricks here, go to the ends of these, you know, like in the middle here, which is the end of like every certain amount of bars. And then kind of, you know, once this is just gonna lower the volume, but if you right click on and you hit slow down, you know, I'm gonna do this every certain amount just to see what it sounds like. Trying to change the vibe of this track. Most people won't even recognize this is different, especially if I keep messing with this melody until I find something that's dope. I might even change these drums with the pad. This pad here, it's like a pad string. You can, you know, hear tremolo better. So first I'm going to show you originally what it does. You can change the rate. I like to do 2 bars when I'm playing, when I just want to get sound. If you remember, it goes side to side. And then if you lower this here to 0, then it... See what it does? Play with that stuff, man. Throw a little compression in there. Just go with a bit. I'd rather throw my own drums to this. I'm not, you know, like, throw your own drums. Don't sample drums. Hi-hats is not that big a deal. Like drum loops, like if it has a cool and you're just gonna use like something like to throw your own beat on it, that's cool. So drop your beat, drop your drums to your beats, to your instrumentation. It just sounds so much better. So with a little bit of compression on this melody, what was it? This one? Yeah. I wanted to go like far. I'm trying to use as many stock plugins so people realize that, you know, you don't necessarily need 1/4. Yeah. You don't necessarily need, you know, to have like this, you know, all these expensive plugins. This stuff came with it. FL Studio comes with some good plugins. You know, Pro Tools, everything comes with really good plugins. If you're going to make excuses, then you're never going to get anywhere. I like to play it and then hit stop so that I can hear that delay. This has like a spacey vibe, you know, that's why I took off a lot of the high end on it. I took a lot of that high end off of it, so it's dreamy, but it's not. This is where your vocals are going to be, so I don't want it to interrupt my vocals. You got to think about that as well. I'm doing basically, now that I have my concept down, besides obviously I'd have an 808 in the drum kit, you know, but as far as that, once I have like my basic layout, I go into the mix mode. What I probably could do is duplicate this, the top one. I'll go back to the original transpose. Yeah. And then, you know, I'm going to cut both of them with the EQ, but then it'll have like I'll have like a top. It's kind of like if I stacked it, like if I made it myself. Yeah, this one's better. All right, so you know, this before this video gets into the hour, now I'm just gonna go ahead and give this some drive on that 808. Key's a little off on that high note, but it's all about finding it. That's pretty much it. Messing with stuff. Remember to, you know, try to find something that manipulates the sound. Try to find something that works like the tremolo if you don't have that on your digital audio workstation. You know, mess with delays, mess with, you know, pitching, you know, like, you know, here they call it transpose, but all that's doing is changing the octave. So find that kind of stuff in your DAW if you use something different. And then, you know, you take out the drums here, and someone might hear that and it doesn't even sound like the original. And so those are a few tips on, you know, what I do when it comes to sampling. I try to stay away from it, but not everybody. Some people are producers, and so they're good at piecing things together, and they're not so much you know, well versed in playing keyboard or playing guitar or any instruments like that. Don't let that affect your confidence or make people, anyone who tells you, even if it's coming from your own brain, don't think that just because you can't play an instrument, you know, correctly or very well, doesn't mean that you can't be a producer. I recommend you learn an instrument. Especially if you learn it on your own. I mean, learning it professionally is one thing, but that's going to change your sound, you know. But, you know, watch some videos, learn to make some, even if it's a simple melody, because on top of this here, like, it'd be nice, this melody here, the pad, it'd be nice if you played a melody, like a really high one, like a synth bell sounding, ding, ding. I don't know the melody by memory, but just to play your own little melody to it, and then you can use that, like, cut and use it during the beat. And so you know, it'd be nice to add your own instrumentation on top of this, especially if you could do it without this melody here and make your own little, instead of make your own melody and have this all be background stuff. Then that way you can make a way better beat, but you have a foundation to build on. So, you know, those are my tips. I know this video was kind of all over the place, but I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to, put them in the comment sections. If you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. And if you have any feedback, also leave that down below. I want to get better at my organization and being able to explain things a little better and not have to rush through things. I just don't want to have super long videos on the channel. But if some people want that, then, I don't mind. But, some people don't want to sit there and watch a 20 or 30-minute video. So I hope this was helpful. Peace.